surprised actually, like with the Lyra, because of the amount of lane pressure and protection, the heal you get, the bulwark, a black feather pick in the Celeste is something I know that teams have been looking at. Sirius has practiced as well. Whether it's weapon or crystal power, it does give you quite a bit of advantage, but they're going for a little bit of the safer, it's the triple poke composition versus the dive, the backline composition.
This is the comp Hack won against us with yesterday. They play it very, very confidently because they will apply the lane pressure with the glaive afterburn. I think it's going to be a lot for Sirius to handle. It's going to be dependent on whether Old School is going to get ganked a lot. If he stays safe, if they scale into the mid
Lance and the glaive who can get into the enemy jungle and try and put some pressure down.
Now the bulwark here from Rex, of course, that's going to be a very big issue when it comes to a lot of these fights because we have the glaive to get in nice and close. We got sense play, of course, with that impale. A great bulwark could dictate a lot of these fights into this one and negate a lot of the burst play that I think Hack is going to have to go through because that's a Lyra, right? Yeah. Lyra, Samuel, they both have built-in sustain, AoE, you know, we kind of fountains out there, perhaps even a Crucible later on. Like, they have to get in and just burst somebody out from Gankstars because they're not going to win the long haul.
Totally agree with you, and Senseplay's actually going to catch Wrecked, Imperial Sigil used, but Hack don't want to chase where they have no vision. And speaking of vision, look at the prioritization here from Hack. Dada's got a Scout Trap, you've got 3 players on Sensplay, you've got a Flare on Youngju as well. They really want that early aggressive vision in the enemy jungle.
Well, they also just want to make sure that nobody's going to be creeping up on them because it's North America, right? Gankstars Sirius. They have the status, one of the most aggressive junglers we have here in North America, and definitely one of the best that we have there as well. And Old School can easily come down. Samuels are scary guys to go up against early on, especially without that vision.
Definitely, and Samuel as well, one of the best poking heroes in the game. Dada's going to have to try and match that here on the Celeste. It's going to be a battle of CS in the lane as well. We talked earlier on the analyst desk about how Druid is able to get so much extra CS. Actually, Wrecked dodges out the Impale there. I feel he may have been dead if he was caught out by it because there was a core collapse coming in as well, and Youngju just around the bend.
I was expecting Gankstars to maybe be a little bit jittery here early on, but I feel it's actually Sensplay going to jump in the gun a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think it's just, especially with Lance, you have to try and make the Impale as quickly as you can, because otherwise people are always going to try and dodge it out. And once again, actually, we see Wrecked building the Stormguard banner here.
I mean, this was the recipe for success in game number 1, and if they know 8 broke, don't fix it, right? So this will delay the Fountain, but that's to the good news here of Hack, right? We only got that Sigil. The Fountain won't come in until maybe 8-9 minutes, and if Hack can, again, get into that burst and get the damage done, if Rex doesn't have a bulwark up, like, for example, a rotation up, right now would be pretty awesome. But if they can get in there, it's great, and that delayed Fountain will actually be to the detriment of Gankstars.
The difference as well is in game 1 they went for a much more aggressive early game with the glaive.
They did.
So they always were trying to put pressure into the enemy jungle and get those early kills, and they got themselves about a 3,000 gold lead pretty early on in the game. Here they don't really have that advantage, so I worry slightly that Stormcloud on Wrecked isn't actually going to do as much work as it did in the last game because he's not going to have those opportunities to catch people out. In fact, he's getting caught out himself as Youngju jumps in, Impale takes him down, and Hack take Burst Blood.
The timing on that bulwark, again, microseconds between some of these reactions. He didn't hit the Aegis maybe in game 1, but if you don't hit those bulwarks in time, Hack will eat you alive. Like, that is the comp that they have set up. It's not only just that engage, it's also the follow-up from Dada. The core collapses. We're going to have those solar storms later on. And as he gets more and more crystal, the Helios and the Supernovas, good luck trying to dance around those.
So when Vainglory was really starting out as an esport, we talked about double crowd compositions. You know, double crowd controls, triple crowd controls. We've got a quadruple crowd control coming out of Hack here. You've got the core collapse, as you said. You've got the Impale. You've got the Githian wall, and you've got the afterburn. If you get caught out by one of them, you are dead. And Hack are really running a pick composition that can fight in the late game, whereas Gankstars Sirius are running much more of an AoE team fighting composition.
Yeah, they definitely feel like, again, I kind of said a bit earlier, but they want to keep everyone away from them, right? Yeah. If they can just have that long range poke, that long range siege, and the babysit here from Rex is fairly massive in lane. It's forcing Sensplay to now stay in the visible spectrum of the area. And Dada
he was going to go infrared for a second.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you call bushes other than invisible, but I mean, hey, whatever you say over in UK.
Hidden, I guess.
Hidden.
We probably call them brushes, actually, some of the time. Anyway, but yes, doesn't really matter because we are here on the world stage in NA, and once again, we're going to see a glaive with a tension bow. Hack picking that up early here.
And again, I think it just reinforces the pick comp that you were talking about and getting that burst down. If they can burst somebody down, it's a 2v3. Gankstars, if they lose Old School into this, I think it's actually much more crushing. If they lose Status, I mean, Status right now is building into the weapon Sky. Very dangerous 1v1, but 1v3, perhaps not quite the demon that Old School could actually live up to be.
Definitely. I think Old School is really one of their carries for the team composition. He's the one who's going to be needing to get that poke down positioning in the fights. We saw it in the first game. He was very aggressive. He was stepping up into the faces of Dada and Youngju and getting those Madison verdicts down. He has to do that again here, because if he doesn't, Gankstars Sirius are going to be knocked out.
Well, Gankstars have kind of deviated a little bit from the earlier game plan of early aggression. They've more or less stayed to their side. They're down a kill. Yeah, they did get caught, but in terms of the gold, actually leading just by a tad. It's anybody's game still, really, but this is a noticeable difference from the Gankstars early game.
Hack perhaps not being as aggressive as they might want to be after burning onto Old School. Death from above on Dada. And this will be the disengage from both the teams. Fountain actually used there by Hack. Rekt, of course, does not have one as he's prioritized the Storm Crown. Dada's almost got 6 here. Everyone's almost got 6 here. As we will wait to see how these teams play out the rest of this fight.
Afterburn's up, Bloodsong is ready to go, Senseplay has his there as well. I don't think Old School actually expected to be the target, but there's still a really good pick potential here.
Huge amounts of it. Youngju can jump back in. Only the reflex block on Status. Root onto Rekt.
Yes.
There is the Afterburn as well, but Rekt will run his way away and escape beneath his turret. Old School stepping forward to force Hack away from his Roma.
Core Collapse wasn't up on that.
Yep.
That's a big misstep right there, but you can see just how instantly Hack can engage right there. I mean, they can cross that distance in the blink of an eye and set up for that Celeste easily.
That was cute from Status. Death from above to steal the tree off towards the back line. He knew that Youngju had to stay away because he was so low on HP. And this is the minute advantages we talk about. If you can take them, you can take the win and you can take your place in the world's top 4. Semifinals is the spot they're playing for to face up against Phoenix Armada. And both these teams want it with a passion.
Core Collapse just went down there from Dada as well, but it's just for the farm. So again, like the setup, the triple comp, the 4 stuns as we're going to call them here, it's not ready to go. So Gankstars, they're going to get off of this one scot-free. Status, yeah, using an ult there for that steal. A lot of players might be like, well, that's a bit waste. It was a 20-second ult. Like, he can just go back, farm. By the time he gets up to lane, it's going to be ready to go, and that does go a long way for making those early game advantages.
And it's not as impactful on a weapon power Sky as it would be on a Crystal as well. It still does work, but it doesn't. You don't need it all of the time. Yeah, still sold the tree, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. Let's have a look across these items. Old School and Dada in the lane have both gone for that broken myth, and we actually see a slight deviation on second item. Old School's got himself a little bit of shielding, whereas Dada is going all down the crystal bits.
Well, yeah, Dada does not exactly have anything really to worry about in terms of being jumped upon. Like, the best you got is maybe like a Suri Strike, right? Or a Portal. But still, it's not like you're going to be crossing the distance like this Lance, like this Glaive. So he feels very confident as long as he stays back, use that range. Once he hits level 8, the Helios gain another rank of range there as well. And he feels he doesn't need it. Old School, however, he's being actively targeted. That little bit of mitigation can go a long way.
Definitely can. I'd like to see him get a reflex block relatively soon as well. It looks like he's building towards one now with the Oak Heart.
Definitely recommended.
Yeah, just because if you can block the initial CC, you stop Hack being able to get that chain off, being able to stop them from catching you out too much.
And Rekt's not going to get a Crucible, or if he is, it's going to be like a 12-minute Crucible.
So late when you get that Storm Crown first, and I don't think the Storm Crown's done a huge amount for them either. I'd like to hear what the analysts have to say about it afterwards, but we will have to see how impactful it is as we get later on into the game. It does help you take objectives as well, so gives them that gold mine focus that they have been having in the earlier games, and the Krakens as well. But I think if you're using it for the poke advantage you get out of it, it doesn't really do the job.
Well, the sieging potential here from the lane hasn't really phased Hack. There hasn't been really a big push either way. Are they actually going to give up this gold mine to defend this top? I think they really got him.
Here comes Rekt. The turret's going to fall, though. Here, Status as well. Turret almost dead. Dada jumped on by Status. Youngju will get the kill off on towards Rekt. And now it's up to Dada to try and dodge around. A great Githian, though. Knocks Status back. He will take the 1-for-1. They do lose 2 kills. They lose the turret as well. They'll get themselves a gold mine. But it looks like Hack are in the advantage.
I'm really not entirely too sure about that decision. Yeah, they started out the gold mine, they noticed the bushes, sent up 2, immediately lost out the support. Old School stayed behind, he did get that gold mine as mentioned, and I gotta give it to Status actually on that one. A 1-for-1 trade is the best he was gonna hope for right there. He did get it, but now the flow of the game is really pushed up against Gankstars.
It definitely is, and I have a worry for them now as well, because Frostburn's being completed on Dada, which allows him to control these team fights a lot more.
Those Helios.
The Helios do so much work. It's AoE damage, you get AoE slows, and it's all up to Rekt to try and get the engage off for his team now, because otherwise they're never going to get close to that Celeste.
And that's, again, just kind of a confidence factor here from Data. There's very little opportunity that Gankstars are going to be able to jump into that back line outside of Rekt using that portal. And even if they are, Senseplay has the gifting. We have Afterburns on tag, Core Collapses, and Boots.
That's the engage we were talking about. Oblivion lands as well. It's up to Senseplay to try and defend his laner. Will tank up a huge amount of work. Youngju jumps in onto Status. Core Collapse won't connect. Solar Storm doing a lot of work, and they still have a turret to fall back to. The fountain used by Hack. They weren't quite able to get the CC chain down, but they were able to save Dada's life.
Yeah, Boots coming out big right there, and then of course Senseplay, as you saw, I mean, he was taking those hits again and again. It kept his laner now very healthy. He is level 8. Data can now really become the artillery that they need him to be.
So that overdrive in the Helio gives you a bit of extra range. Those supernovas doing work. Youngju jumps in onto Old School. Fountain used. Impale comes out. And Old School's rooted to the spot. But once again, the boots are the saving grace as Gankstars Sirius managed to stay alive.
Rekt throwing out the sigil, Rekt throwing out that fountain, Rekt just trying to keep Old School alive as long as he can. He does have that reflex, and looking for that Aegis since he has 2 items now here as well. And Old School is basically just on track for his farm. Data perhaps not expecting that level of damage out of Status.
Now there's no wave here for them though, so they're not going to be able to take this turret too easily, especially with Senseplay there to defend. Senseplay looks like he's building up towards Crucible. Next does land the Impale, maybe the War Treads actually, with that Oak Heart sitting in the inventory now.
I'd expect War Treads in a sense play. That's very thematic for the whole best of 3.
It definitely is, and just allowing your laners to block out the Oblivion and Death from above themselves, it tends to be what we've seen from these East Asian teams. They're very much, look, you look after yourself, and I will be that next line of defense for you. I'm not going to give you more than you can handle. And at the moment, Hack are handling Gankstars Sirius. You have to think, they've taken the turret, they've got some damage down onto that next turret in the lane as well, and they've got a Celeste that is powering her way up to a very beefy carry.
All right, so they haven't actually seen Old School yet. He hasn't come into their vision, but he is holding on to an infusion, and he's actually the only one I can actually see with that right now. It is the 12-minute mark. This is more or less when NA does like to actually get those infusions anytime between 11 and 13, because that will carry over for a very important Kraken spawning. So if you can get a good team fight, you get a good Kraken, you take control of the game. Gankstars, though, again, with the loss of that first tower, a lot of the action has been in this middle air towards their base. They have not been able to advance. This
is a weakness we've seen in Hack's gameplay, the non-contestation of Goldmine a lot of the time. Now Hack have realized it as well. They are going to try and put the pressure down onto Gankstars Sirius here, but they just don't get there in time. They don't get the positioning they'd like, and it's going to be another Goldmine to Gankstars Sirius. They actually spread themselves ahead to a 2,000 gold advantage.
I don't think Hack has taken a single one in 3 games.
Can't remember one.
They've definitely not contested. And you're right. Is it a weakness? I'm not entirely sure I'd go that far, but it's definitely not a preference. That it
is a weakness when you don't get anything out of it. So the first Goldmine in this game I understand because they got the turret, they got a double kill, it's great for them. This one, what did they get? They pushed the lane a little bit, and all that's going to happen is Old School now rotates up, gets himself some farm underneath the turret, and they don't really mind too much.
I would definitely have to sit down for a conversation with them to get their opinion on it, but they are not getting any monetary value. They're not getting any positioning. You're quite right on that one. Senseplay is just going to run away out of this. Not a problem. 2 items there, still cool. He does have that Aegis ready to go. Data, he's going to be looking for his soon enough. If he gets that Eve before any kind of big team fight, that could actually be a really good power spike, and I think he pretty much has the money for it, or he's about to hit that plateau.
Yep. And we do actually see Old School getting his Eve as well here, so that sustain on Samuel, something that he's well known for, can do a lot of work. Here's the engage, Rekt jumps in, Status trying to get to the back line, but the Githian knocks him back. Impale, Solar Storm, Dada's dead though, and here come the rest of Gankstars Sirius chasing onto Youngju, will get the kill on him. That's Storm Crown coming up big for Rekt, will be able to chase him out, and it's now up to Senseplay to try and survive for 15 seconds to deny this ace. Status is here though, he's not going to let that Lance survive for long. He'll chase him down. It's another kill, and it's an ace for Gankstars Sirius.
Gankstars really exploiting the fact that Dada, really relying on those positioning. Coming up from the bottom, you can only run so far top. There's a giant wall right there, right? So he kind of ran out of positioning, and then that's just when Gankstars was able to bring him to town. So they go in with the portal. They have the death from above, maybe not exactly doing what they need to, but again, Dada has nowhere to go right here, right? There's a dead turret in front of him. He can't run left, and he can't run up. So they were able to just collapse, get the damage done, and that was definitely the weakness they needed needed to exploit there.
And Gankstars Sirius are doing a really good job of allowing Rekt and Status to go in and then holding Old School back just a little bit, which means he's not usually enraged for I Love Yongju, who is focusing on keeping Dada alive more than anything else. I feel if Hack went for Old School and just took him out of the fight, 9 times out of 10 they're probably going to win that fight, and they're not able to do that because of the focus. There she is, as you say. The Kraken has spawned. Impale was missed there, actually, off towards the side. Just saw the...
Great cinematic, but it doesn't actually land on top of anybody, as you did say. And Hack, all right, have some infusions coming out. Remember, Old School was infused that fight. Yeah. I'm fairly sure that, yeah, still nobody here on Hack. We just picked one up there from Dada, so that was another factor into that one. Old School hitting like a monster. He's 3-item. We're looking for 3-item there on top of Dada, so we are pretty much even when it comes to that. But Rekt, again, he's going to be looking for it.
Going for the engage. Status knocked back, but he waits with the Suri strike. Core collapse comes down. Dada will survive for the time being. Gets himself out alive of the fight. Yongju and Sensei trying to act as that front line for the team. Will be able to get Hack away, but Dada just about survives. One great thing that I just want to pick up on Status. Waited for the Githian Ward, so he...
Started up, you know, Gankstars with that fight. They might not have gotten a kill, but they got themselves the positioning. And, well, it's up to Hack to motor on over here. They don't have treads. That capture bar is getting real close.
They do have the engage potential with Sensplay and Yongju, though. Here comes Rekt. Here comes Gankstars. Sensplay's low. They will almost take him out. He does fall, and now Dada's on the retreat. Hack have to get away. It's a 2v3. They just need to live to fight another day. Gankstars Sirius are going to look for that choke point turret, and if they can take it, you have to think that the game is in their grasp.
Rekt is soloing Kraken at this point. He's
Stormcrown.
Yeah,
the
Stormcrown, that's exactly right. But laying down the Oblivion, laying down that Death from Above right there, it really constrained where Hack had safe spots to stand, and that is what absolutely destroyed Senseplay. He did not even use the fountain out of that one.
The dude just
really
doing anything. Yeah. And that's even without armor on Old School. Status has armor, but I feel that Yongju is not focusing Old School in a lot of these fights. He's trying to keep Status off Dada, and that's what's losing them the fight to some degree. Kraken pushing in here, looking for that choke turret.
Ooh, nice.
Great Death from Above line placement there along the turret, and Gankstars Sirius will be able to take that first turret down. It looks like they might resign to just having that one turret fall off the Kraken. Yeah.
It's just been, again, like the border situation, right? I mean, that's easily like 15 or so Helios just being eaten up there. So they did break that choke point. And we both agree, you know, that is a very important key to victory. Once you get past that, it really opens up your options here for the Gankstars because they can invade jungle. They can push right up to it. They can really start bottling in Hack at this point.
Dada's gone Atlas, so he knows exactly what he wants to stop happening.
Atlas is an interesting idea, though, because it requires them to successfully jump him.
I think the argument is, if they're on me, I want a way of getting away from it. If they're not on me, I'm going to do enough damage anyway. I don't need anything more than a reflex block and an Atlas to stay safe from range. I just need the Atlas if Status has actually got close enough to me and try and get myself away.
That's the big key, if he's close enough. I'm not entirely too sure Status has really been, you know, hugging him. He's been using the Suri strikes to get into there, but then he's also dancing around the core collapses that come out, the glaive, the lance, and everything. I'm not entirely too sure that's the right idea.
I can understand that. You would have said full metal jacket instead, just going for a bit of armor. He definitely needs armor.
Yeah,
he definitely
needs
armor. He's getting beaten out by Status. Old School isn't actually doing that much to Dada himself.
You put together an Aegis and a full metal jacket, and that's the best defensive 2-item combo you can probably get. Just in pure damage reduction.
Definitely gives you the most stats as well with that shielding and the armor. Gankstars Sirius will be looking towards this next Kraken once again. They get the choke turret, as you said. They've the flare down here, and Hack perhaps trying to stop this one, but not even going to be able to get into their own jungle.
This is the surefire way to build up those advantages, to look for the best position to end the game. You take their jungle, you keep them all bottled up, Kraken comes in, you get it uncontested, you win the game.
But actually we can see Hack getting far enough forward, they can put a bit of vision down for themselves. Senseplay doesn't have any scouts, only got those flares up. Same is true for Rekt.
School got the boots.
They have got the boots there. The Wardshed's going to go in on towards the backline. Oblivion out. Dada's still alive. Old School in the front line. Dada has been jumped on though, and that is a dead Dada. Yongju's the next target. Hack falling to the winds as Yongju will fall as well. 2 kills to 0 for Gankstars Sirius, and it's all on Senseplay here to try and defend. It's going to be an incredible defense if he manages it. There's the turret targeted by Gankstars Sirius. They've taken it down. They're looking for the second crystal turret. This could be Sirius securing their spot in those semi-finals. They will take the second crystal turret down, and they will turn their
That's GG.
eyes to the Vayne crystal. This is it. Gankstars Sirius are going to the semi-finals.
I would really hope that Rekt would be happy about. There we go. Finally, a smile,
A
out
smile
of
at
it,
the end
but
from Rekt.
My goodness, Senseplay. We talked a little bit about microseconds of reaction time. He got slept up by the Oblivion, and then he put on the Aegis, and then it was just too late. Data was dead. Youngju already just down and wounded. And I keep saying, Senseplay, you're going to be my MVP, but perhaps that was a caster curse at the end of it, because that sleep was just